Welcome back, friends. So, there's an energy today, huh? I don't know if you guys feel that or not, but if you don't, if I feel it a little bit sooner than you do, then I'm just giving you a warning that you may not feel like super high vibe in the next few days. Um, but it's like, it's not your fault and it's nobody's fault around you. It's that if you just look at the weather, you'll see that the weather shifts and changes all the time in order to maintain some sort of balance. Okay. So it's like you feel the weather inside of you, you exhibit it inside of you. And I like the fact that, like, because I've been doing all these videos outside, we can see the growth of my tree and how it's changing. Because what you see is how beautiful these leaves are right now. They're this like auburn color, but when they fully grow in, they turn green. And so it's like that's what I'm talking about, right? We are all going through the phases of like how nature is changing outside. And so yeah, like the past 2 days, I was wearing yellow dresses, different yellow dresses, but today I like could not be in anything other than a sweatsuit. And I was so happy I found these pants like a week or two ago, and they say antisocial on them. Let me see if I can stand up without like ruining my microphone. But right here it says antisocial, and I think it's so awesome. Like, oh my God, all right. Somebody else, obviously they don't create these clothes like this if I'm the only one experiencing this kind of stuff. Okay, so just understand, like, you don't need to make everybody understand you. You just need to understand that you are not the only one feeling that kind of way. Okay, and it's like we can't all be the same. We cannot all be the same, no matter how much you wish everybody could see things more the way that you do. It's like that's your desire for community and acceptance and all those different things. But just understand that we have to have balance, because like I am just such a hardcore introvert, right? I could like live in complete silence because I know that just being able to speak to somebody doesn't mean that you're actually having honest communication with somebody. Okay. And sometimes like trying to communicate through words is like the worst form of communication. Okay. It's like, I don't know. I'm just going to take a pause. Hang on. Okay. There was a train going by. So, yeah, so I never kind of like remember where I left off before I take the pause, but I know I was talking about how like things shift and change all around you all the time. And I think that we take it so personally if we feel that shift going on with us and we don't see like what the cause of it is. It's like it doesn't matter what the cause of it is. The cause, if you really want to know, it's because you are a being that is primarily made of empty space and water. Okay, so it's like, because if you understand biology and chemistry and all these other things. Neil deGrasse Tyson says that we are made of the stars, right? So they don't look anything like us necessarily, but maybe to something else like that has different vision than the eyes that we're looking out through. We do look the same, right? We're just sort of like this being of light. And even the sun is like this thing of light, but like today, clearly the sun is out, but there's something that is covering it to make it so it's not so bright. All right. So, like, don't take it personally that you don't feel the way that you want to feel today just because you want to feel that way. All right. So, the best thing that you can do is like not be in complete denial of it, but then have these ways. Like, one of the greatest things that you can do is everything is symbolism in this world. Everything is symbolism. Okay. So, um, clothing is one of these like symbolic things that we have to sort of protect ourselves and make us feel comfortable in this world. And that's what I was talking about. Is like when I find clothing that really speaks to me, it's because like I resonate with it somehow. All right. I would never just choose something that um, I was going to say that somebody else likes, but I don't like. But sometimes I do if it's my kids, or if it's like my sisters, if they like give me something because it feels like something that they would like to see me in, because it reminds them of my energy, then I'm willing to like wear that thing. But the main point is that like it doesn't matter where you are every day. Let's say that you have to wear a uniform at work, then give gratitude for that, because then you don't even have to think about what you're wearing. When my kids went to school where they wore uniforms, it was a public school, but the benefit of it is that it reduces all that anxiety about like, what am I going to wear today? Like, do I have everything washed for what I'm going to wear today? And all this other stuff. What I'm saying is like, have clothing, have things, have perfumes and like scents or candles or something that allow you to sort of feel at one with the mood that you are in today without it drastically shifting like who you are on the outside or what you're doing for the day. It's like you just have to provide yourself a place of comfort so that you can show up as your best self and not totally have to like run away into something else just to pretend like you're not feeling the way that you are. All right. Your feelings are totally fine. You are not in control of them, but you can become friends with those things. Okay. So I just wanted to create a little like video to say that, I've been feeling weird. There's no real other way to say it. I mentioned it in a video yesterday that I'm just like, I'm feeling different and it's not sick, but there's something going on. It's like we kind of always wish that things will be better and they'll be more in alignment with what we want in our lives. But then when those things actually shift, because like I said, it's just been sort of this global thing for the past 5 years where everything has kind of the, halted to this screeching. It's this like the brakes went on and we had no control over it, no matter how much we wanted to, like during quarantine and all these different things, no matter how much we wanted life to be back to the way it was, it just can't, right? And this happens through just evolution of time as technology changes. It's like I've watched my mom, she gets all sad if a certain store closes or whatever. I'm like, you just got to understand, you got to roll with the punches, that you should have gratitude for those things when they were what they were, but that we don't live in a world that we can control the pace at which technology evolves around us. But you can do the best that you can in order to hold on to the things that matter to you um, with nostalgia. Right? Nostalgia is one of the greatest gifts that we have. And it might only be memories, but those memories trigger emotions of comfort and safety when we don't have them around us. Okay. So this isn't like something where you're tricking yourself into feeling better. It's that we have access to these things because they make us feel better. But in the world of modern, like, go get them attitude and pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and all this other stuff, it's like we did have a world where you could do those things. And now we've kind of moved past that to where it doesn't matter how hard you try, if the environment around you doesn't support that thing, it's like you just have to wait. You have to wait for your time to come when God says, like, you know, you've been putting in an honest fight this whole time. You've been listening to what I've been telling you, and you stuck true to what your heart said, you know? So hang on. I love the weather today. It's like it feels perfectly aligned with where I'm at, where there's sort of this pause before some sort of show of the weather, right? I'm quite certain it rained already today. I didn't know about it. And oh my gosh, there was like an explosion that happened um, somewhere somewhat close by last night. And I got a message like from my sister and a really good friend of mine that they were asking if like we were okay and if we heard it. And I can't say that I heard it, but I was talking to my son. We were watching Stranger Things because we were so excited for the new season to come out. And every once in a while, he'll go back right from the start and watch from season one all the way up to where we're at right now. And because we're waiting for season five to come out. But we were talking about something, and I noticed that there was all these emergency like vehicle noises around us, and they were going on for way longer than they normally would. If it were just like something, like an accident or whatever. So I don't know if that happened because of the explosion or if the explosion happened after that. I don't know. My like inner clock has been so off lately that like um I'll fall asleep and then I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll stay up for a couple of hours and then I'll go back to sleep. It's like no matter how much I want my body to behave in a certain way and like get your sleep when you have it, because I'll go for years where I'll only get like 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night, and it's just the way that my body wants to do it. But lately, within the past like 2 weeks, I would say some days I feel like I can't get enough sleep, but also I'm like waking up during these periods of the night. So I just want to know, like, are you going through similar things? Because don't be afraid of that kind of stuff, or don't like try to force yourself out of it. It's just your body, your body is like nothing more than the weather, but it appears so opaque, right? Our body appears like so solid. And really, we're just like this translucent being where everything flows through us. And we just have to do our best to like adapt in a constantly changing environment. So, um, I don't know. I think I said all the important things. I wanted to like get this out because I am gonna start reading chapter 5 for the Way of Integrity. And I like to do a little intro before I do that of saying like, "Hey, what's up? How are you feeling today? This is how I'm feeling today." Just so because I appreciate my solitude so much. Um, but it doesn't mean that I'm trying to hide away from everybody that I care about. It's like I really every day I want to say, "Hey guys, I love you," to all the people that I care about, all the people who have given me the benefit of like their time and their honesty, whether it be at a distance or whether it be like when we've been together in life. But I feel like I get such a sacred opportunity at relationships with people in this world. And it's like such a gift. And I wouldn't have that if it weren't for me being so introverted, okay, and like being so in my feelings all the time. I think like a lot of people think that I'm immune to feelings just because I can show up and be the best of myself, hopefully, because I'm like just trying to be a good, I'm trying to be a good like human version of what God feels like inside, because we all have the capacity to do that. And if I can do it and I can be honest about it, I think it allows space for other people to feel comfortable with who you are, no matter what day it is, no matter how you're feeling, no matter like what words come to you or what words can't come to you when you're in communication, like when you cannot express to somebody else in just the ways that we know how to communicate, like what is going on inside of you, right? But I think we can feel a commonality, and that's okay. There was a time that we didn't have language. I didn't live in it, but I know that it's possible. But we all did, right? If we were all babies, if we were all born at one point, we could not communicate. But as soon as you were born, there is this like reflective nature that's going on that when a parent or an adult is looking at you as a child, there's something going on your face that you are not consciously communicating, right? But you see a reflection of what your face causes as an emotional reaction to that other person. So, like if you're crying, then the other person, right? If you're a baby and you're crying just because you're hungry or you don't feel good for some reason, then it creates an effect in the face of the person who you're looking at. And then that creates an effect on you, right? So we constantly have this reciprocal effect on each other once we are born. And that's just how it is. And so you have stacks of like hours and days and weeks and years of these reciprocal interactions with people that even though there are verbal communications going on as you move through this life, the true communication is happening on an energetic level and like this reciprocal, like, hey, I said something to you and it caused this reaction in your face or in your body language, right? It was 1313. I just think that's a really cool number. 13 actually means good luck, not bad luck. Okay. So, yeah, there's stuff going on that we all know about, but we just don't always talk about it, right? So I'm just trying to give you the space to like accept that stuff and that that's really where I want to communicate. I'm not interested in shallow level stuff because it's so obvious. It's so obvious and it's such a waste of our time, right? So it's like that is what I'm here for. If you really want to know what it is that I do in this world, I have a business card that says that I am a transition coach. And I was thinking about how funny that is because it's I termed it that way because I'm not, there's a lot of people who say that they are transformation coaches. And it's like, I can't cause transformation with you, but I can be there when you are transitioning through different stages of life. But what it sparked in me when I was looking at my business card, because I have it sitting out here somewhere, I don't know where it is, but um, I was like, oh, in this modern day of what we're in, it's like, that can be confused as like a transition coach as in when you are transitioning from like genders or whatever. And it's like, it's not really what I mean, though. Like, I can help you through those things. But what I've realized is that everywhere that I have been in life, I've shown up in an environment when it's going through a transition. And it seems to be just like that's where I'm comfortable and that's where the environment kind of draws me in so that I can bring a sense of stability, um, during those transitions, because a lot of people get nervous around, like, just for example, um, when I was in the Army, I told you I was there when we were switching uniforms. So there was this big transition phase of like this very old school Army into something that was newer with like Velcro and gray uniforms and things like that. And like, um, when I've worked in different places, even from when I was in the Army, um, we were standing up a new unit in Washington. So I got my orders to go there a year in advance from the time at which um, I was actually only at my duty station in Fort Bragg for 3 months before I got my orders to report to Washington, but I wasn't supposed to report there for another year. And that is not the way that I've seen it done, like with my other places that I went to, or with other people that I knew in the Army. It's just like not the way it was done. So we were standing up this new unit in Washington, 17th Fires Brigade. Now these units have a historical significance, but they will transition where they're at. And then they bring in new like battalions and companies and things like that. And then, yeah, we were going to Iraq, into a area of Iraq that was in the south, and it's Basra. And previously to when we had been there, the British soldiers were in control of that area. But I remember being home one day and watching the transition ceremony, which I rarely ever watch TV, but it always seems to be that what I do catch on TV has some symbolic historical significance. Like I remember the days I missed college one day, and it was the day that they were pulling down the statues of Saddam Hussein in Iraq. It's like back in 2002, maybe. I can't even remember. But I do catch these like really big things. I won't even get into it because it just leads into more and more stories. But yeah, I saw the handover from the British soldiers when they were handing over that area of responsibility to the American troops, and we were not there yet. That was like in May of 2000. 8 or 9, I don't know, but we didn't get there until July, so they didn't have it for very long when they transitioned it before we moved in there. And so then when we moved in, this transition was that the British troops had agreed not to like roll the roads, not to go outside the wire. They weren't going to like mess around with the Iraqis. And the exchange was that then you guys don't mess around with us. But when the American troops got there, then they started doing that American thing of like, we're going to let you know that we're here, and we're going to like start driving on the roads and things. And so what would happen is that they would like launch rockets into our camp on Thursday nights, I think, because like Friday is their day off. And so we would have these like rocket Thursdays where they would just warn us when we got there that they're going to launch rockets on the camp. So just be ready. And then we'll hang out in the bunkers on Thursday nights. And that's what we would do. We would get all suited up because we would start to hear the incoming sirens on these like little military fobs and cobs and things like that, that aren't well established. They don't have all these warning systems. They don't have all these defense systems. But because we were on a relatively large base, we would have all those things. So even though it sucks to the system, right, to your body, like when these alarms start going off, it's sort of like, oh shit, right? And then you get used to it, and you don't want to get too used to it because that's when mistakes happen. But um it did not last for long because our presence was being known. Like we went out on like over 270 missions in the year that we were there, just our little teams. And so the more that we were going out into the communities, and we were actually like building um cohesion with the community around us, because we wanted to let them know that we were there to help provide security for them, you know. So we would get out there and we would spend money that was given to us by the government in their local towns and shops, and they would like feed us. It was amazing. It was amazing. I never really felt unsafe in that environment, though I could feel like the tension that was going on. Yeah, so anyway, the whole point is, let me just move on because now we're like 20 minutes into this, and it only really needed to be a 5 minute video. But I've always been around in these transitory phases of when the environments around me are changing. And I think that has to do with the fact that I tend to get bored easily. And so I really enjoy being there during like these tumultuous times, because we just need a group of people who are able to sort of lay down a foundation of security. And I find that I get linked up with other people who are like me. And then there's a lot of other people who are willing to follow a leader as long as they feel secure in that leadership, right? And so that's why we have to have all these different types of people, um, because it just meshes well together. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it off at that. I love you, and I'll come back with a reading. All right, bye.